liebe Freunde, wir sind immer noch da. Gamescom 2018 hier in Köln. Ich sehe, ihr seid auch noch da. Das ist sehr schön. Einige hier in den Hallen, einige auch zu Hause vor der Kamera. Und das lohnt sich, denn wir haben Gäste. Hier rechts neben mir sitzen Entwickler von der Total War-Reihe von Creative Assembly. Und ich begrüße Sie am besten einmal ganz kurz. Und dann werden wir uns das neueste Total War angucken, nämlich Three Kingdoms. Und wir wechseln jetzt auf Englisch, denn die Jungs kommen nämlich aus dem Vereinigten Königreich, aus UK. So, hey guys, welcome to Rocket Bean Stage.
How you doing? Hello, hello.
All right, so James, welcome. Elle, welcome. You two guys are from Creative Assembly, based south of London, and you are part of the historical team of Total War.
That's right, yeah.
You two guys are responsible for the games that are not set in the fantasy universe, but in a historical correct universe. And you got a new one with you, and what's that all about?
So it's Total War Three Kingdoms. It's the first time we've taken the Total War series to ancient China, of course.
Yeah.
And the reasons for that are long and many. It's an awesome period to play with. It's a period with tremendous narrative because you've got the romance of the Three Kingdoms written in the 14th century, which took history and it brought it to life with fireworks, basically. So it's full of amazing characters, and we get to play with all that when we make the game.
So I'm no expert on Chinese history. Could you give me a can you give me on speed that we are on the same page? What kind of three kingdoms are we talking about?
So essentially, the period really well. There were obviously lots of run up to this, but the tyrant Dongzhu, a major oppressive character, essentially took control of the emperor and used him as his puppet and tried to rule China with an iron fist.
Well, what year are we talking about?
This was 170.
Long time ago.
Yeah, long time ago.
All right, all right.
Yeah, not even 200 years after, after 1 AD, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, so the game actually begins, I think, in 170 AD. So what's happened is there's a coalition born of three great warriors come together as brothers and vow to fight Dongzhu. And that is where the civil war really begins. And that's where the player comes in and tries to, under the banner that they wield, they come in and they try and unify China.
All right, and you brought the game with you, which is excellent, so we can see some live gameplay. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
All right, so James, I guess you're playing, you got the controls?
I am. I'm going to be driving us through. We got a little campaign flyover at the beginning, kind of setting up the battle, so we'll go with that.
All right, let's start it.
It is a rich and fertile land where harmony once ruled and may yet again. But now, the once proud capital of Luoyang lies in ruins, and all along the great Yellow River, a terrible conflict rages. Dongzhuo, the tyrant who once held China in his iron grip, is beset on all sides. A coalition of warlords has formed to defy his rule. The wise Chancellor Cao Cao, the noble Liu Bei, and the great general Sun Jian have combined forces to thwart him at every turn. However, it is a marriage of convenience. Even now, the cunning Cao Cao looks beyond the fall of Dongzhuo to his own future conquests. He has planted a spy in the court of his ally, Sun Jian, south of the Yangtze River, and watches for his opportunity to strike. Lady Sun, Sun Jian's noble daughter and one of his finest generals, leads her army in the east. Around her, she feels 1,000 unknown eyes watching. There is a rustling in the trees and a dark secret in the mountains. The trap is set.
So,
welcome to...
There's a presentation you are showing behind closed doors, and right now we got the opportunity to see this even if we are not in the business area. Is that right?
That's correct,
Oh, that's awesome. All right.
So now the battle begins, and we should get a... we'll get a short introduction from the characters who are fighting in the battle. James will be in control of the son and daughter of Suen Jian, who was one of the great warlords as part of the coalition. One of his so-called allies is about to spring an ambush on him.
All right.
And the ambush is against the army led by his son and daughter. So we'll see those. They'll be the playable heroes in this battle now.
As far as I know, ambush is pretty difficult because you have no time to set your army up.
That's right, yeah.
Something feels wrong. Shh. There! Movement in the tree line. An ambush is imminent. We must be ready. If we cross the river, we could escape through the southern gates. Or we could attempt to survive the ambush through force of arms. This hill would make a good defensive position en route, should more forces arrive. Prepare for battle, brother, and may your blade strike true.
That's where the ambush begins, so you can see the enemy forces massing just beyond the tree line there. They are going to come straight through and attack James. So yeah, in ambush battles, this is what happens. You get caught in column, marching in column by the enemy army, and they're going to be on you just like that. The big difference with how we're doing ambush battles in Total War 3 Kingdoms is that we've now built an extraction point into every ambush map that's generated on the campaign game. So there's a chance of escape, right? If you can soak up some of the enemy army and hold them at bay, maybe you can get your army out, or even just your heroes out to fight another day. And if you play it well, when you go back to the campaign game, maybe you'll have a good-sized army left, and then you can counter-attack, and you can even the odds because you'll be facing them in even combat rather than being ambushed and caught marching in column.
Okay, makes sense.
So what James is doing here is he's forming a fairly stout defence with his troops along the line there, performing a classic hammer and anvil tactic here, pinning one unit of infantry with another unit of infantry and using his cavalry to move around the back and smash at the flanks and the rear of the units. And these cavalry are mercenary cavalry. They're very light, they're very fast moving. And even though they're light, because of their speed, because they're very fast moving, they have a great impact. So you'll see loads of guys being knocked over flying. And they have a nice little morale shock effect as well. So you've got an enemy troop pinned into combat. They get hit in the rear by cavalry, and they're going to be, oh no! And
yeah, doesn't look like a pretty effective ambush right there.
Exactly, yeah. But the best is yet to come. So this is only the first of several waves So once if James can survive this first wave and fight these guys off, he's got more in store for him as well.
Okay.
So you can see the two heroes at the centre of the battle there. The one on the right is Suen Ren, which is Suen Jan's daughter. And she is a vanguard. So we have these 5 very specific, very well-defined character classes in Total War 3 Kingdoms. And a vanguard is a warrior-style character, right? They want to get out in front of the army and attack the enemy units, disrupt their formations, and go and duel in hand-to-hand combat, in single combat with enemy characters. That's their real strength. And so what James has done is he's actually taken out the first of the enemy generals to appear. And that enemy general was a strategist. And strategists are pretty squishy on the battlefield. They've got very little hit points. They're not designed to fight. They're not warriors. They're there to improve the army. They're there to support and unlock new formations for the units in battle on their side.
Oh, okay.
But if a warrior comes up, they can be taken down pretty quickly. So that's their
makes sense, yeah.
They're like a clothy, they're like a spellcaster almost, in an RPG. That's the kind of allegory.
So now he's going to water. Is that a good idea?
So, well, yes, because one of the best defensive positions on the map is directly, now we're in the tactical mode, you can see, if you can get across the river and go southwest there's a big hill. And if you can get his troops up on that, he'll have a tactical advantage because it's always harder for troops to fight uphill.
Yes.
And it's easier, obviously, for troops to fight downhill as well. So taking that point, he's got 4 units of spearmen, 2 regular ones and 2 very elite ones called Azure Dragons. If he can get those guys up on the hill, locked into some nice defensive unit formations, then he'll be able to make a good defense there. And from there, he'll be able to maybe use Suen Ren, the vanguard, the warrior, to cycle around and pick her targets and, punch the enemy where it hurts along with her cavalry.
Okay, so James is not going for the exit strategy. He's really here to fight, or what?
Well, as you can see, the symbol at the back of the field there, straight ahead, that is the exit point.
Yeah, I see that.
And unfortunately, there's an enemy force blocking it, and they're coming from the exit point towards us. So we've got to deal with those guys. However, you can just see peeking through the distance now, we've got a third wave of attackers coming in, and these guys are going to try and sandwich us. So James has a tough fight on his hands because he's now going to be attacked from two fronts. So he's got a choice whether to... Oh, that was Sven Ren using her special ability called Heartseeker. It's a sort of powerful bow skill.
Okay.
I managed to miss it as well, so that's not great.
Yeah,
you didn't see that.
It's never a guaranteed hit, especially if they're far away and they're moving.
Yeah, sure. But I guess he's got another chance.
Exactly. He gets 2 more shots with that weapon.
All right.
It's a finite amount. But she also has an AoE attack as well, right, James?
She does indeed. Flame of the Phoenix. You need to get in there, get close combat, but it's really, really powerful. So I'm just trying to set up my little ambush. Going to put my formations together. I've got square formations here.
Looks very good what you're doing. You still got everything in formation.
Yeah, and those formations are great because he's got defense from all sides with those circle and square formations. They've got defense from every angle. So even if you're hit at the front and the rear of the unit, you're still facing outwards. You're still fighting with your best capabilities on either side.
These are pretty crazy formations. Are these new, or have we seen this before in Total War
Yeah,
series?
I think circle's a new formation for us, isn't it, in historical games?
Can we have a look at this new formation up close for a moment?
Yeah, getting close.
Never seen that before. This is historically correct, those circle formations?
Yeah, they use circle formations. There's a mixed unit formation as well, which the Azure Dragons, which is the elite spear units he has, very heavy, very slow moving, but they're super well armoured. And they also carry a bow as well as their spear. So you can switch them from melee attack to ranged attack. And there's actually a mixed formation where they'll have spear on the front line, poking out, and behind you've got the ranged guys as well. So you get the best of both worlds. It's a really useful kind of dual role unit.
Except from they got completely attacked in the rear and it didn't really go the way I wanted. But other than that, pretend you didn't see it.
So it looks like
take him out of that formation now.
It looks like James's principal general Suen Ren there. She's dueling now with one of the enemy heroes, and it looks like she's winning at the moment. We could just see the balance of power bar. You can see his health is going down. So she's taking him down piece at a time.
Okay, but this is a duel of honor. Nobody's supposed to help, right?
Exactly. So your units and enemy units will move around them. They will keep away from them and let these guys fight, right?
But you could, if you wanted.
You could tell them to attack, but that would be incredibly dishonorable. So you get a major morale negative for doing that.
Interesting. All right.
So there's a penalty for doing that.
Okay.
Because you're dishonoring your leader from their glorious victory against this famous legendary hero. So, but yeah, with dueling like this, it has kind of multiple uses. It's great for locking down an enemy unit and maybe taking out the battle so it can't support its army against your army. It's a great way for taking down a rival as well, taking down a rival character. But it's you have to plan for these things. So it's good, as James was doing at the start. There, she uses her Heartseeker ability against this character here, and that's taken a chunk of health off him already, so it's good preparation for the fight to come, for the single combat.
And can a warrior go into a duel with a strategist? Is that possible?
Yes, it is. You can always refuse a duel, though. So if you've got a strategist and you are challenged by a powerful warrior, it's probably not a good idea to go into that.
You should decline.
Yeah, you should decline. Yeah. But this guy, big two-handed axe, he's powerful. But
some pretty awesome animations going on there.
That's awesome.
I've not seen that one before, by the way.
I'm not sure I have
happy
either.
with that one.
That's fantastic. So yeah, when these guys go into single combat, we've motion captured wushu martial arts combat, and these guys go in and they roll through all these matched animations, and you'll see that happen, and it's like a microcosm for the battle as a whole. Right at the centre of it, you've got the ultimate struggle between two legendary characters.
Okay.
As the war rages on around them, So that was a thing we really wanted to bring across from the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. This incredible novel written in the 14th century that brought history to life in a way that nobody had ever done before. And it's a cornerstone of Southeast Asian culture, It's amazing.
So how's it going, James?
I think I have this under control. I mean, if you the trick in this is because your generals are tied to retinues down here. The troops follow them. If you can kill the leader of our retinue, they start falling apart. So it's all about kind of taking out the leader and then chain routing the rest of the troops from there.
Cutting the head off the snake, as it
Exactly,
were.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that will be the end of these guys.
Yeah.
These guys have been in circle formation the entire battle.
Can we get right in and have a look at them?
Yeah, I did literally just click off it though, but there you go.
Oh, they're going to break up now.
No, they're back in there. There you go.
But that's great. I mean, you can plop your strategist, your squishy hero character, right in the centre there.
Middle, yeah.
You know, and get him protected from the rest of the fight while he's there, you know, granting abilities to other units and stuff.
Okay.
So, actually, Suen Ren's brother, Suen Xuan, which is that guy right on screen now, he's about to... Look at that, they part the way to let him in. He's a commander. That's his specific character class. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And he's talking to you, James.
I know,
he's talking to you, man.
It's my first time playing the demo, so you know, I'm really happy.
So the battle is won, is that correct?
That's right, yeah.
We have won.
Yep. So now, in the context of a campaign game, for example, you would go back to the campaign game and James would have beaten that ambush, that enemy army would be destroyed or severely weakened and run away, and James would then control that area, and in this particular situation, he's got a sizable part of his army left, so he's got great local superiority.
Ah, all right. So are we going to see the campaign map right now, or is this not part of this demo?
No, it's not part of the demo, unfortunately. We saw that fly around at the start that kind of set up the story for the campaign. One of the big features we've been talking about in the campaign game over the last few days of Gamescom is how we're building all these extra facets into characters, how they can build relationships amongst themselves. So these two, for example, they're brother and sister. They have a strong bond. So when they go into battle together, they buff each other. They get extra armor. They get extra morale as well. And this is something that can happen if you have two warriors that fight in the same battles again and again in your army. They may start building a great bond of friendship between them, right?
Ah, okay.
So they go into battle and they just both fight better because they've got their buddy at their side, you know. But if you don't play your cards right, then that can actually work against you. So in the campaign game, our characters now have their own drives, their own personalities, which you discover over time. You can't change the things that they like and dislike in the world, right?
Okay.
So you don't... The characters are no longer these tools that you skill up and give abilities to and have 100% control over. These guys have drives of their own, right? So if you get a character in your faction, maybe he's a great warrior, and you're playing a very diplomatic game in the campaign game at this time. You're not really going into any wars or anything. Maybe he starts getting dissatisfied with you because of that. You know, he might start quite loyal to you, but he's like, "You've got to send me out to fight. I'm not happy with this. You can't waste my talents. I'm sitting around doing nothing."
And what happens then if he's dissatisfied?
He's dissatisfied. He may get so dissatisfied that he leaves your faction and joins a more warlike faction.
Oh, what a dick.
Which might be your enemy. Yeah, what a dick. And double dick, right? If he's really good friends with another character, like brotherhood friends, he might take his friend with him. His friend might go, "Yeah, you know what? I'm going too. See you later. I'm going to." And then two of your most powerful warriors have joined your enemy. So you've got to watch what's happening. You've got to try and manage your characters and keep them happy, right? So.
Okay. Oh, what I was seeing now? Are those all the formations available?
So James has lined a whole bunch up here. We've got the circle. We've got the hollow circle. The sort of arrowhead formation there.
What's this one good for?
The square here.
Yeah.
That's great for defending against. Well, pretty much everything actually, because it's circular. Not circular. It's got defense on all sides, but it means you can stack units next to each other. So you've got all-round defense.
And what's the difference to the circle formation?
Because with circle formation, if you put circles together, they don't quite meet, of course. Circle formation is great in isolation, but if you've got a whole bunch of units together, all their flanks will be protected by the other units, and they've got this locked formation at the front. Have you got the pike and shot formation set up there?
No, because all my units of that are dead.
Ah, your dragons are down.
They're running away.
Oh, no.
I tried to put them in that formation. Their cavalry got behind me, and it went south from there.
So those are the guys I was telling you about that do the mixed role formation with the bows and the spears.
Yeah, the really hard ones that running away right now.
Basically,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, we can
even if you've won the battle, they didn't realize, right?
No,
they're not happy about it.
They turned tail. They went chicken and turned tail.
They didn't have a good game. I didn't reuse them to their full effect.
All right. So when are we going to see some more things about the campaign map?
A little bit later in the year, I think. I don't think we can put a date on it yet, but there is so much to talk about. And you know, it's like I said, characters are very much the cornerstone of this particular Total War title, and the way we're building them so that they have a deep and very meaningful effect on your gameplay. It's all about the characters.
Yes, I like the series very much, and I think the whole battle thing, the battle part, because 50% of the game is a strategic map, and the other 50% is the fighting on the battlefield with your armies and formations.
Yep.
I think you got this already pretty well done. I mean, there's not much room to improve, considering other games of this type of style. Your army game is pretty awesome. And I'm most interested, actually, about the campaign game. Too bad that this is not yet to be revealed.
No, not yet. Like I said, the video at the start, that was a little, at least a visual look at the map. But obviously, we've got loads of systems to talk about and all sorts of things. Yeah.
Okay, so we're coming to an end, and I still got 3 questions from the community, which I wanted to redirect to you, if you could answer them.
Is that cool?
And there's one from Main Spitzbone, who posted at our Rocket Beans forums, and he asked if you already have any ideas for future epochs or settings, which we would like to tackle next.
I tell you what, we have a list of periods as long as my arm of what we could do next, and we kind of think about this one, maybe we should do that one. I think with Three Kingdoms, certainly, it's something we've been thinking about for a great many years, and I'll be honest, it's something our fans, our players on the forums and on the internet have been going, why aren't you guys doing a Three Kingdoms game? It's perfect for Total War.
Yes.
So it's getting its time in the sun now.
Another question is about a Game of Thrones license. Would be match made in heaven, wouldn't it be? I mean, you're from the historical team, but maybe you can say something about that?
It's something we'd love to do, yeah. It's not something we're planning to do or even thinking of doing, but no? I agree, it's a really cool idea.
Not even thought about that?
We think about it.
And last question is from Christoph, who asked a pretty specific question about the heroes. Are those heroes which we saw there, do they have skill trees, and will they be able to gain mounts?
Yeah, they've got a number of different skills you can give them, and yeah, they can be given mounts as well. And actually, mounts can be traded between different characters as well.
They can be traded?
Yeah, and actually, a useful way to keep one of your characters, if you've got a character that's dissatisfied, is happy, if you imagine you beat a legendary character like Lubu, like the finest warrior of the Three Kingdoms period, he has a horse called Red Hair, which is I think it's only the 3rd fastest horse in the Three Kingdoms period. They have they have a very strict hierarchy for these things, but it's an awesome legendary horse. You give that to one of your characters, they are going to be super happy with you. That would increase their satisfaction. They'll be like, cheers, boss. Oh, thank you, this is great, you know.
All right.
So yeah, mounts.
So, thank you very much, Al. Thank you very much, James, for having this nice demonstration. It worked out quite well, I guess.
I think so, just about.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I hope that our viewers are impressed as well. And thank you very much for being here.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Ja, das war Total War, Three Kingdoms. When will it be released?
Spring next year.
Spring jetzt hier. Also im Frühling nächsten Jahres kommt das Ganze raus. Ich hoffe, euch hat es gefallen. Mir auf jeden Fall. Wir erfahren mehr über die Kampagnenkarte, denn Ende des Jahres, das war eine Schlacht. Danke an die beiden Jungs von Creative Assembly. Und ja, ich würde sagen, wir machen weiter am Programm. Ciao.